Hi there, my name is Robert Hilton. I'm a fine artist by trade, and I'm here to show you a copy of the Wally Artist Edition from IDW Publishing, and this is indeed the geekiest thing I've ever done. It's an unboxing. Here's the box. I don't normally do things like this, but I thought this was kind of special. As you can see, here's a little perspective. This thing is enormous. This is the actual size of the book. Back in the 1950s, EC Comics used 15 by 22 size pages to do original artwork, and this is a book of original artwork. Here we see the front cover, and boy, is it ever spectacular. Wally Wood was probably the most revered EC artist and the most influential comic artist of all time, in my opinion. One of the greats. The image of the futuristic astronaut is embossed on the cover. Here we can see a few markings, which are probably, I'm guessing, for reference for the colorist. I'm going to flip it over, which is no small feat. Square bound. This is the image that appears on the back. Also slightly shiny and embossed. We're going to flip inside and take a look. Here we have a double-page spread, frontispiece. IDW did a fantastic job. I'm almost at a loss for words because this book is really unlike anything I've ever seen. It's probably close to a fine artist folio edition. Here's an example of one of the neat things that this particular printing offers us is we get to see pencil markings from the publications. We see that this was from a Weird Fantasy. Here's the stamp from EC Comics. That's Entertaining Comics, previously Educational Comics, and then once Congress got their hooks into them, they became non-existent except for Mad Magazine. Interesting. We'll take a look at the binding here. This is indicative of fine art folio binding. It's stitched, reinforced. My hand fits basically in the sides about a third of the page. Beautiful work. EC Comics specialized in horror comics and science fiction comics. That's mostly what they're known for. But of course they also worked in humor, war comics, science fiction, of course. There's a self-portrait by Wood in the lower panel. And this page is also tinted. Here we see some zipatone work by the artist. There's a little Wally Wood doodle at the bottom of this page. Wow. Suspense and crime was also an important EC genre. Nobody drew women better than Wally Wood. and any professional comics artist would say the same thing. Here we have a war comic. Very moody. This looks like Jack Davis probably worked on this as well. Or maybe, I think this is probably Wood working from Harvey Kurtzman breakdowns. Here we see some charcoal rendering going on top of the pen and ink. Here we have a famous pair of pages depicting a battle in images only. That's one of the great things about EC. They didn't do superhero comics. They made fun of them. These comics were always aimed at an adult audience as well as a child audience. Here's a signature from Wally. There's a cover gallery in the back of the book. Full size, 15 by 22. This was the first EC comic I ever bought, a Gladstone 64-page reprint, and this was the cover. Issue of Frontline Combat, hard-hitting tales of war. Two-fisted tales, perhaps even more hard-hitting. Shock suspense stories. This is an incredibly famous cover depicting the Ku Klux Klan. This is often reprinted. And here's the inside back cover of the book. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little tour through the artist edition as much as I did. It's quite a wonderful piece of work in itself. Here's something a little interesting to leave you with. It looks like these pages were originally done on illustration board, as you can see from the greenish yellow border. And what Wood did was he went down with gesso or white paint or whatever he had handy in his studio and laid down a layer of white on top of it, but he left areas untouched by the white gesso so that the illustration board came through. And that gives a little bit of tint to the panel. Then he went through and did his inks, of course, on top of that. And boy, the impression that you get from this book first is that it is big and it is impressive. But once you start to get into the work, the impression that you're given is that this guy went all out on his stuff, and it is just impressive as hell. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.